issues. Usually they do give us warning, but we didn't get warning this time. I don't know if the mail delivery was just a little cold. Usually they give us a little notice, but we missed that. So thanks for breaking through the barriers to make it to Cape Fear Riverwatch, kind of the story of our life. I just have two quick announcements or introductions to make. First, Valerie Robertson from Going Green Publications has a quick announcement to share. So come on up, Valerie. Yeah, let's use the mic because TK back there records all this stuff for us.
Great. Good morning. Some of you know I have an environmental book club that meets the first Tuesday of every evening. It conflicts with some other great groups around town, but we read a book and then we come discuss it. And every fall we pick the books we're going to read for the coming year. So here's the list of what we're going to read and discuss through January 13th, 2026. There are just a few copies of this on the back table, but you can find it out, if you find out the list of titles either by going to my website to the calendar month by month. If you're on my mailing list, I'll be mailing you the list within the next 48 hours. And our books this year will include Wastelands, the true story of farm country on trial. So those of you interested in waterways and farming and hog waste issues and so forth, that might be of interest. And several others that I'm interested in all of these. So we hope you come join us. You can come join us just once. You don't have to join the club. You just show up if we're discussing a book you'd like to talk about. So see me if you'd like to be on the list. Yes, sir.
What's the name of your group again?
Cape Fear's Going Green is the magazine, and it's the Environmental Book Club. And if you go down to Old Books on Front Street, she has already received all of these books but one or two. They make great gifts, and you can get a free bookmark that lists all of them and the dates we're going to discuss them. Thanks, Dana.
You're welcome. And we can print more of those. I'll print some while we're chatting here and throw them back on the table. Next introduction, Jeannie Lennon. Jeannie Lennon is long time board member. None of us knows how many years. We always say it. Somewhere between 15, maybe 80. She's off the board now, but continues to support Cape Fear Riverwatch in a huge way. And the Daffodil fundraiser is the last of its kind this year.
I'm getting old.
So you got to take advantage. These daffodils love our region. We have them out front. They pop up beautifully every year. They're local. We have gift basket. I'm going to do this for her until she's done, until she gets up. We have at least 27 of these. There's about 27 of you here. Gift baskets, Christmas gift. Awesome thing. She needs to get rid of these things. She's got things to do. All right, Jeannie, anything else?
And today only, 2 for $25. They're usually $13 each, 2 for $25, or best offer. So I also have some in brown paper bags if you want them for your own yard. But if you think about it and you think of somebody or a small business that wants to give them to their employees or something, it's a great holder for a gift card for employees. If you think of it, in the next couple weeks, they'll be here in the office. So please come by and buy them, and let's sell them all today.
Yeah, don't give them an opportunity to take that for later. This is a today deal only, right? Final announcement from me, and I'll get off the stage. Thank you so much for everybody's support over the year. This is our last first Saturday for 2024. We've had a banner year, if you've been paying attention so much, and Hannah will provide more about that. My last comment is we are 501c3. We are a nonpartisan organization. We don't support or oppose candidates for public office, but we always point out when they show up because that's important. Elected leaders that show up to environmental events. So Sled Andrews from the City Council of Wilmington is here. Thank you for coming. And I'm going to kick it off to Hannah. Thanks.
Okay, I have just a few things, and then I will turn it over to what you guys really came here for. So if you haven't yet visited the food truck outside, it'll still be running for a little bit after seminar, correct? Yeah. So make sure to grab something on your way out if you're hungry. A little bit of past news, since we did not have a November seminar, and we did not have a November seminar because we had our free education event, Lake Fest. We had over 370 people attend Lake Fest, which was pretty awesome. So we will be having that again every year. If you know any kiddos, any neighbors, anything like that, make sure they put on their calendar for next year. We'll have that coming up soon. We also hosted our fall fundraiser middle of November. So thank you all for who attended, who supported us, i.e., as Dana said, throughout the year as well, and as we're coming up on the new year. So thank you guys. Another thing, Western North Carolina. So our last third Saturday paddle we had in November was to support Western North Carolina. So on top of that, with Captain Charles Robbins, if you know him from Cape Fear River Adventures, he's been selling some Three Sisters tree saplings. We have over $2,000 going to Western North Carolina from you guys. So thank you so much. We have also installed a couple more passive litter devices, the really big ones called garbage gobblers that get installed directly into the creek. 2 of those went into Burnt Mill Creek with Savannah and Rob and 2 of our super volunteers, John and Scott. So we have some new exciting things happening as far as Burnt Mill Creek. And last thing is that I have up here for past news is PFAS groundwater standards. What day is it? Saturday. So earlier this week, there was a public Environmental Management Commission hearing. So we had several people, just over a dozen, go and provide verbal comment to EMC. But there's also written comments that can be sent until the end of the year, December 31st. So we already have a pre-drafted email. You can make it your own, absolutely. Provide any additional details on that, and it will be sent to EMC and a couple other people. Okay. And then just a couple more things from me. Our last Burnt Mill Creek Eco Tour will be this upcoming Friday at 10 a.m. It'll probably be chilly, bundle up, but it's always awesome to get out there. It's about an hour walk along the creek, and you learn about our grant work, but also all the wonderful things that happen. And then we already talked about our daffodils, so make sure you grab some before you leave. I already said I need to be reminded about that.
Before you introduce him.
Okay.
One thing. Sorry, I know this is a lot. This groundwater hearing, I just want to let you know I got an update 2 days ago from somebody who's close to the Environmental Management Commission members who told me at least one of them thought that these comments were coming from a bot or they were spam. And so I sent them an email and I said that is absolutely not true, and I will send you a report of all of the emails that are coming. We set this email up to go to 24 people, all of the EMC members and leadership at DEQ. The EMC members are the ones who need to hear this. The DEQ is where it's required to go for public comment. The DEQ proposed these groundwaters. They already agree with them. The EMC is where it potentially could be stalled. They're the ones who need to hear it. That's why I included them in the email that is coming to them. And they're getting annoyed because their inboxes are getting filled up. So I suggest we keep annoying them. And make sure the subject line will be changed. It forces you to change the subject line. Please feel free to add your own commentary. Even if you don't, I have made sure to tell them that sending a pre-filled email is their public comment. That is someone potentially or essentially signing a petition saying they agree with that commentary. And that's in an email, and I got a response back from DEQ. Yes, of course, we are honoring the feedback. So everybody, please do what you can. This is real quick, and they need to hear from us because they're stalling at the EMC, and this is ridiculous. That's my last. Environmental Management Commission. They're the ones responsible for putting forward the rules. They can't go anywhere without their approval. And they're currently a supermajority of polluter-friendly folks running that system.
Shout out TK and CB. Thank you for your guys' help. They're the ones doing the cameras. As Dana mentioned, this is not actually a microphone. I still have to project. However, this is being recorded. So feel free to share friends, family about this seminar. Okay, so now what you guys came here for, I'm going to introduce Lucas and then hand it over to him, and then we have a showing for you guys. Lucas and his 2 brothers were raised on a farm in Pitt County, where they learned the value of hard work and eating whole foods. The farm produced cows, hogs, blueberries, and other produce. Lucas's father is a 4th-generation farmer, and his mother is a gardener. His strong work ethic led to a scholarship and becoming a teacher. He moved to Chapel Hill, started a band, and met his wife Ingrid. Years later, Lucas and Ingrid lived and taught here in Wilmington. They have 2 children, Tula and Enzo. Lucas was teaching and coaching basketball when he began having pain in his lower back. This pain persisted for months with no diagnosis from doctors. Ingrid was offered an opportunity to live in Switzerland, so the family relocated and found a wonderful life in Switzerland, but his back pain persisted. Doctors in Switzerland discovered a cancerous mass. As Lucas recovered from the chemotherapy treatments, he started to learn how plant-based whole foods can heal disease. He began making lunch for the teachers at their school, catering, and creating recipes. Driven by a profound sense of purpose, Lucas and his family made the courageous decision to leave their comfortable life in Switzerland with a mission to educate children and communities in North Carolina about the transformative power of nutrition. And then I'm also going to introduce Jesse. Jesse is the producer and director of the film that we will watch after Lucas's presentation. So Jesse will be up here to do some Q&A as well, but I'm going to go ahead and read his bio. So originally from Pittsburgh, Jesse has been producing documentary films and videos since 2000. He has been recognized for his work, winning a multitude of awards, including 3 film festivals for Best Documentary and a regional Emmy nomination. His current film, A Well-Fed Education, which we're seeing today, has screened at 2 film festivals and won the Best Health and Nutrition Award at the International Vegan Film Festival in Toronto. So I will now give it over to Lucas. Once I switch his presentation over.
Okay, which one do I hit?
And you can switch between your
Okay,
slides.
nice, thank you. Let's see, it's funny where you end up in life. So I grew up on a hog farm, and here I am with a plant-based truck. We didn't just have hogs, we had everything, and my parents are still, they have peaches, blueberries, corn, tomatoes. It's just a beautiful place to grow up in southern Pitt County, right on a pond, just peaceful out there hearing the birds chirp, and no more pigs, no more cows. So that's how life goes sometimes. You learn stuff and you adapt to it and you keep moving. And so today I'm going to tell you all about all the toxins that you know that we're facing, and how we can deal with them and how we can hopefully overcome them and just lead a healthy lifestyle and a vibrant lifestyle at that. This is a book called Barbara Papa. Anybody familiar with that? Anybody speak French? So the authors are actually French. So this was, we got this book when we were living in Switzerland, so it's written in German. And I think it was written in the 70s, and it's just a children's, style book. Barba Papa means cotton candy in French, and these are the Barba Papas, and they can change their shape to whatever they want, but they kind of look like cotton candy. But they always have an environmental message behind their stories, and in this one, it's just talking about how humans are overtaking the world, and their toxins are spreading everywhere, and the Barba Papas are trying to save all the animals and keep them away from it. And eventually they have to leave the planet and take them to another planet, and the humans start to miss all the animals and all the birds, and they're like, well, we better start cleaning up. And so they start just sweeping and just planting all kinds of plants, and the Barba Papas and the animals are looking through a telescope back from their other planet, and they're like, hey, it's getting greener again, let's go back. And so they come back, and it's just nice to see that young kids in the 70s were still getting, some environmental messages before their formal training in school started. And kids remember this stuff, and older generations do too, and it's just nice to see, and I just felt like this spoke to what we were going to talk about today, alkalizing in a toxic environment. So if I were going to move forward. Probably have to turn it on first. There we go. Yesterday on the food truck, I meet all kinds of people on the food truck, but she was like an angel. And sometimes you can just tell the energy that people put off. And that's all we are, is energy. And our Creator, defined what kind of energy we were going to be. And she came up to me at the food truck, just a beautiful feeling coming off of her. And she's like, "We got to take care of what we're given." And I'm like, "You're absolutely correct. We do. And we're not. We're not. We are stewards of this beautiful earth. And we're here to pass it on to future generations." And since the Industrial Revolution, we're just messing it up. And we think we're better than the nature that God created. We think we're, in our own little bubble and we're not connected to it. We are part of this nature. And we forget that. I forget that too sometimes. And it's just amazing the similarities that we have, our bodies to the earth. If you think of water content, we're both about 70% water. If you think about, how our veins, and our blood in our veins carry all the oxygen, all the nutrients that we need to each single cell in our body, just like the rivers on the earth and the water, takes and cleans out everything. It's just magnificent to see how similar we are. And I was like, yeah, you're right. We do have to take care of what we're given. And sometimes we get, a speed bump in life and we're like, what's going on? What is this? And at the end of the day, that's all disease is your body telling you that you need to slow down, you need to rebuild and regenerate yourself. And disease actually, that's just what our medical establishment calls it, is really just two things: toxicity and acidosis. So toxicity comes from our environment, from DuPont up the river, from a lot of modern day medicine. I was sick. I was diagnosed with cancer in Switzerland. I had seminoma, and I thought it was lymphoma because my back went out and I couldn't even move. I had to quit coaching while I was here in the U.S. and my wife was like, "Let's move to Switzerland." I was like, "Yeah, I need a change of scenery." And I was blessed. The doctors over there found it, and I could walk again and I could play basketball again. I never thought I was going to play again. I'm just so thankful for this second chance. And I just dove into books while I was over there. I had time. The social network in Switzerland allows for that. They had people coming to do my laundry if I wanted, to cook for me if I wanted while I was recovering. And I was like, "No, I don't need that," because my brother actually came to help me and my mom came, and I had a huge network of support around me. And I had time to slow down and to realize what's going on here. And I found out that everything's for profit and the corporations don't care. And that's messed up when I almost, died. And I see my fellow peers, I taught for 20 years in the U.S., 50 years old, dying from cancer. That's not okay. They have kids they want to see grow up. They're going to have grandkids. We deserve, and our Creator wants us to live a happy and a healthy life. And we're getting robbed from that because of toxicity, which is not only what we eat, what the chemicals in our environment, but also what we put on our skin, the products we're using. A lot of those, we have to be more vigilant. We have to read the labels. We have to say, really, why am I using this? Do I need this? And I didn't do that. And I was eating all kinds of pork. I ate bacon like 3 times a day. I went in for my first round of chemo, and gentleman said, stop using a knife. And I was like, no, that's not for me. I grew up on a hog farm, and I started reading, and I found out that, yeah, it is for me. And it's actually how we're built, all of us. And I'm going to talk about that today. So when we talk about alkalizing, I'm going to focus mainly on our food. How can we eat a more alkaline diet? But it's not only your food, it's also the thoughts you're thinking, what you're spending time doing. If you're having negative emotions, that's acidic. And acidic restricts you and just stops and keeps your body from regenerating your cells when they need to become healthy again. This is where we lived in Switzerland. And I told my wife, I said, I want to move back home after 6 years over there. We were right beside Roger Federer on Lake Zurich. Tina Turner lived a couple towns down. It was absolutely beautiful. It was paradise on earth. My brother knows. He's spent some time over there. My mom is from Switzerland. And anybody ever been there? It's amazing, absolutely amazing. And I told my wife, I was like, I want to move back home and help the people out there, especially in this cancer cluster. She's like, you're crazy. Why? But I support you. So that's why I'm here today, and I'm so grateful. Even this morning, she ran out real fast before I left with the food truck to buy some coconut milk. So when you have a mission, you have to endure, even if there's a race outside and you got to get to a spot. You just got to keep persevering. And y'all, there's not a more worthy mission than trying to help people to be healthy and to alkalize. We were living on the edge there, and I really missed that. My son was 6, my daughter was 8 there, and they thought this was normal. Oh, they had this wasn't that strange. Some of the people gave us funny looks when we were going on this hike because they were like, oh, you're bringing kids up here? You're crazy. They made it. They made it back down. Absolutely stunning. So I left that for this because this is the Mecca that God has created, and we don't even realize it. But all of our problems can be solved if we detoxify and we jump into fruit. And I'm going to talk about alkalizing and the benefits that these guys can give us today. And you guys already know this. This is kind of something that I pull up for, middle school, elementary school, and high school. But we all know that cash rules everything around us, right? Even the food. It's all for profit now. It's no longer about nutrition. It used to be. It used to be, especially when we were growing our own stuff, and the topsoil still had all those beautiful, minerals and vitamins in it. Now it's depleted. Fact of life is we have to eat to sustain health, right? We eat and excrete, but the only problem is we've lost our intuition, and now we're no longer eating what we knew, what we used to know we had to eat. Now we're just eating what we see on commercials and, what propaganda teaches us. And it's sad. And we know what SAD stands for? Standard American Diet. Yeah, Standard American Diet. Where am I? Okay. So it is sad, and that brings us to, I call it sickness care because it's not health care. And you notice all these doctors saved my life, and I wouldn't be here without them. And there's doctors that go into it for the right reason. But it's hard, it's impossible to help when you're in this system that's just built for profit. And Bob Marley said, only a machine that makes money. And the main book that I read that changed my whole life was called The China Study, and I'll talk about that later. But basically this gentleman, he finds out what we're eating is killing us, and he finds out how to not just focus on treating the symptoms. Okay, and if you notice, allopathic medicine's only been around for 150 years, and cancer has taken off in these 150 years. Disease has taken off in these 150 years. And there's a reason for that. Because when the T. Colin Campbell, he wrote the China study, he went to the CEO of the Cleveland Clinic, and one of the leading cancer research places in the world, said, I can help your patients. Guess what the CEO said?
There's no money in that.
Stop. We need patients. Yeah, we need patients. And I'm reading this, and I'm like, I almost died. I see my friends, my family dying. That's messed up. There's got to be something that we can do and rise up above this. And there is. There definitely is. And there was. Before even allopathic medicine existed, there was naturopathic medicine that focused on the root. And you're never going to be free from disease if you keep curing or keep treating the symptom. So have y'all ever heard the phrase accumulate or eliminate? Our bodies were created beautifully, and they know how to rid themselves from these toxins. When we have a cough, there's a reason for it. It's trying to expel that virus or that bacteria. A lot of these things are man-made. AIDS, for example. Even what we've been going through these past 6-7 years, man-made. And I'm not denying the fact that it's not, a terrible thing. It's a worse thing that is man-made. And the stuff that you're putting into your body, please do research before you try to prevent it with a vaccine. Because that stuff's high in sulfur, it's high in all this stuff that just creates acidosis. Okay? So acidosis and toxicity are the main contributing factors to disease. Genetic influence too, but guess what happens if we keep treating our bodies bad? We're passing that on, these genetic weaknesses, to our kids. Okay? And we got to stop it. And the way to stop it is the way that humans existed in harmony with nature for so long. Traditional medicine. It's all right there for us. We have to detoxify to be able to regenerate ourselves that are sick. And if we keep, taking an ibuprofen for a headache, it's going to kill us eventually because it just suppresses it. It accumulates in us. If we have a fever, let the fever run its course. There's a reason we have a fever. It's killing off the bad stuff. And we're taught, no, you got to treat the symptom, treat the symptom, treat the symptom. Please stop. Do some research and find out about the naturopathic medicine. It's not covered by our health insurances, right? It's alternative medicine. But it actually works. It takes a while sometimes, but it works. And it's funny because Hippocrates, the father of medicine, he said disease was not an infliction of the gods, but rather environmental factors like chemours, DuPont, diet, and our living habits. What are we doing? We can control some of these things like our diet and our living habits. Other things not so much, but at least we have a say on how we can alkalize. Disease, again, it's just something that tells us we need to stop and rebuild ourselves. And how do we do this? We have to change the way we're thinking. We have to evolve as a human race. But the main thing is with our food. Hippocrates also said, let your food be your medicine. And one of the major factors of our food that we don't even consider is the pH. How's it affecting our body? Standard American diet, we're eating probably 80% acidic food. Okay, and acid, it creates inflammation and mucus. If you have a lot of sputum, it's probably because you're drinking dairy. Dairy also causes a whole bunch of mucus, and that's your body's immune response, trying to isolate it and build a barrier around it. Okay, get that stuff out of your body. You can have acidic food. We do need a little bit, especially during colder weather. You need a lot more than 20%, maybe 30%. But on a normal day, you should have 10 to 20% of acidic foods in your diet. Don't go above that. The standard American diet is flipped. It's probably 80% acidic and maybe 20% alkaline. The most alkaline food that you can eat, which detoxifies, okay, is, anybody know what it is? Fruit. Just fruit. So alkaline. It's so amazing. Every part of our body is alkaline except for one. One chamber in our body. Anybody know what it is? Stomach. Good. Yeah, the mouth is actually alkaline. That's why we need to sit and look at our food and bond with it before we actually eat, because then our digestive juices start flowing. And you know how Americans are. We're eating on, I am too. We're eating on the road as we're driving. We need to sit and digest. Our stomach has the only acidic spot in our entire body, and that's to break down some of the foods that we eat. It needs those, those acidic digestive juices. But every other part of our body is alkaline. And fruits and vegetables act the same way as that IV that they hook you up to. The only difference is that they actually have what? Nutrition, and they actually energize us too. So you can get that IV stuck in your veins by just eating fruits. And it's amazing because they grow on the trees that are right outside our door. You guys ever heard of Anders Angstrom? He's a Swedish guy, 19th century. He came up with a way to measure wavelengths of electromagnetic energy at a microscopic level. And the average human has about 6,500 angstroms. A cancer patient has anywhere from 45 to about 4,500 to 5,000 angstroms. And this is amazing because that's all we are is energy, right? And waves of light. We've been defined as humans. What a beautiful opportunity we have, right? Try to help each other and pick each other up. It's hard to do that. We can't even smile when we have this many angstroms. We need, 6,500, 7,000 angstroms. So if you look at food, guess how many angstroms fruit has? 10,000. Vegetables, 8,000. Guess what happens when you cook vegetables? It goes from 8,000 to about 4,000. So a raw diet actually is the best thing that you could possibly eat and alkalize with. And it's just amazing. There's some doctors that said modern disease didn't really start until the invent of cooking. Here I am with a food truck. We try to do as many raw and as many fruits as we can. The more you're cooking, the more you're killing the enzymes that are necessary in your food and that you get when you eat raw. Some other things, milk, pasteurized milk. Louis Pasteur pasteurized it to save the shelf life of it so that more profit could be made. 2,000. Milk has 2,000 angstroms. Let's see, what else? Cooked meat. Anybody want to take a guess? Yeah, absolutely. Zero angstroms. So I just wanted to introduce y'all to that because I thought that was amazing. If you look at our digestive tract, which colon cancer is in the top 5 cancers now, because our food is just putrefying and rotting in our intestines. We're eating deep fried stuff. First thing I did was take out that fryer in the truck when we got it. Look at our digestive tract. Looks very similar to the herbivores, right? The carnivores, they get the stuff, they eat it, and they get it out quickly. Ours, it takes a while to get through there. And that's when it's putrefying, it's just releasing ammonia gas and brain fog, all that stuff comes up because we're not getting our food out of us. We should be eating and having a nice, healthy bowel movement 30 minutes, an hour later. We need more fiber. We need more fruit, okay? And that's where fruitarians, frugivores are. That's how we were designed. And nobody in the nutritional business either is going to tell you that because they learn their stuff, from modern day universities that don't teach that because they were funded by oil, Rockefellers. It's all a big wheel that we're caught in, and we're wondering why are we getting sick? What's going on? It's because people are making money off of us, and it's time we wake up. We stay healthy right here. That's it, y'all. Even better, non-GMO. Because when man touches stuff, oh, y'all, there was the funniest sticker when I was living in Switzerland. It said, women and the earth put up with a lot. And it was everywhere, and it was in English. And I was like, that's so true. So true, man. When we touch stuff, we just mess it up. Take it from our career. Sorry, gentlemen. I felt like I could. Some of us, we have good intentions. But so, non-GMO, eat. Be sure you're looking for that sticker. Because it could actually still be sprayed with glyphosate if it says non-GMO. So really the only way you can, and even those standards are kind of iffy at best, look for organic. Pay now or pay later. That's what somebody I used to teach with said. It's worth a little bit extra. So these things are alkaline. Things we love. Pleasure, laughter, happiness, rest. And acidic is worry, anger, hate, lack of sleep. So it's not just in our food, it's also things we enjoy doing. So find something that you're passionate about and that you enjoy and just spread it. And when, things get you down, just try to rise above it because it happens to the best of us and all the time. But we just got to keep rising up and helping each other along the way because we can look at each other and see when somebody's down a little bit and they need a pick-me-up because heaven knows we all need a pick-me-up. But that's the way to do it, y'all, is fruit, organic fruit. And I just put some of these guys up here because even in Switzerland, there was like a little English section in the library there, and I always felt like there was a tractor beam, like just pulling me towards certain books, and not just in Switzerland, also in other spots, but I always come across these crazy books, and I know there's a reason for it. There's divinity all around us, and we're a part of it. We just have to embrace it and accept it and just enjoy it. These books changed my life. I highly recommend all of them. So please check them out if you can. And I think that's about it. Yes?
Yeah, can you explain a little bit more about the China study? What was it?
Yeah, the China study is a very thick book filled with a lot of statistics and facts. And the gentleman, T. Colin Campbell, who wrote it, he was in China for 15 to 20 years, and he was just looking at different foods and like peanuts even, for example, and their effect on the body. And when he made his findings, he went to the Cleveland Clinic CEO and said, hey, I can help. And that's when I read that, it was game on. And I was like, I'm going to do everything I can to help, help people because we're up against a lot and we don't even realize it. We're up against systems that don't want to see us, be vibrant and healthy, and that's a tough thing. But we're resilient. Our race is resilient, and we're capable of doing great things. I know we are. What's that? Oh. Yeah, you'll have to read it for yourself. I'm sorry if I didn't really give you a great synopsis of it, but I recommend it. I do. Yes?
Luke, it's just a shortcut here. What are peanuts good or bad for you? I'm a big peanut eater.
I think I tried to kind of overlook that because I love peanuts too, and we all have our vices. Mine now is dark chocolate, which a little bit it's okay. It's better than milk chocolate. read the book, and I don't think it's the best thing for us. It's a fungus, but it's crazy too because mushrooms are good for us, certain mushrooms. But yes,
So it was the peanut part of the China study was actually I think in Indonesia,
right,
and it was because of a toxin that was created by a fungus that was on the peanuts. The peanuts themselves are fine, so it's just that you want to make sure that you know
The fungus.
it's the toxic fungus that was on the
Okay.
peanuts. It's not the toxin actually was created by the fungus. So even though mushrooms are wonderful, some of them, as we know, create toxins, and
right.
we don't want to eat those.
Thank you for clearing that up. Yeah, I'm learning too as I go, and I'm by no means an expert. And I'm supposed to say, hey, my lawyer, my wife, they don't want me to, get in any trouble. But know that I'm not an expert. I'm just trying to help and trying to show what I've learned. And thank you for sharing that. Because what it is it's a constant quest for truth. Constant. And we're all learning together. Yes.
And this may be too personal a question, but I've been curious. The information you share is of value to any population in the world. And so I'm pleased that you are bringing this home here, but why not stay in Switzerland and do the same work there?
Meine Schweizerdeutsch ist nicht so gut und ich kann nicht so gut mit der Regulations wenn ich muss kehren. My German is not great, and I speak Swiss German, and I know English better, and I know how to get a business started, and so that's a great question. And I told my wife, I was like, look, we're going back home now, but this could go worldwide. This could be international, and we might go back to Switzerland sometime.
I've lived there. It took a crowbar to get me out.
In the interest of time, we're gonna maybe
Yeah.
we'll hold questions till the end as well, and I think you can hang around for a bit, right?
Yep.
Questions. So we can show the film because it's real inspirational. We want to get that. So.